Good morning all. How are you all? Fine. Okay. So today we will be having this orientation session for agriculture optional classes, right? So if you have been aware, like we have taken, I have taken like so many of this orientation classes already, where I have already discussed what is the role of syllabus, or else how you should be looking at the PYQ trends, then what should be your preparation strategy and all. So today what I will be doing is that I will be focusing on four main aspects that I will tell you first. But before that, it is mainly like an strategy session, right? So that is to say, this thing agree optional. So strategy, that is to say, with your GS preparation plus optional classes, how you can manage, right? So this is one aspect. Second aspect is within this optional, the plan to get that elusive number 300 plus. So what are the things you should be getting to ensure that you are going to score this 300 plus, right? So most of the times what we think is that this number 300 plus is what we needed to get into the examination, into the selection list. But even without scoring 300 also, definitely you can get into the list. But the thing is, once you are entering into this, classes as such, you should be getting that at least 290 plus minimum thing, right? So what is that extra thing we are going to do in this classes that is going to ensure you like this extra marks? So that is what I am going to discuss today, right? So in the first off, in the beginning, so what I would be doing is, okay, in the first off, let's see this syllabus in brief. Syllabus in brief, the importance of syllabus, what are the things we can learn from the syllabus, that will be covering first. And then this, what are the challenges, or else what are the things you need to get 300 plus the features of our classes, correct, and how this will be a solution for this. Plus lastly I have an update to tell, so that I will be telling, right? So these are the major things I will be covering in this session. First thing first, how many of you been through the syllabus? Everyone? Sure? Pakka? Okay. How many subjects are there in the syllabus if you go by our this thing UG trends? UG has read it, right? At least I consider, I know he is one who is not from agriculture background, but most of you are from this agri background. So in UG we have this subjects, correct? How many subjects we have studied there? So many. But in the syllabus, how many subjects are there? 8? Pakka. In total actually we have 14 major subjects. Now paper 1, paper 2. Okay. So in paper 1, what are the major subjects we have? Ecology, or else agroecology, agronomy, then soil science, soil water conservation, then of course here weed management is also there. Weed management. Then we have extension, economics, agriculture economics, then agriculture extension, right? Okay. Under paper 2, what are the major subjects we have? Cell biology, or else genetics, then plant breeding, then seed science and technology, then we have crop physiology, then we have plant protection, then we have horticulture, then we have food science and nutrition, correct? So these are the major subjects where in total, as I said, majorly it is 14. Now the problem with, say, I will tell you like two things. One I will be telling from this thing, what is that, non-agri graduates, and one from agri graduates. Because see, this optional, though it seems like only it is for like agri graduates, it is too technical, etc. It is not true. Because I have seen and I have like mentored students who are from like non-agriculture background, but still they ended up in the selection list with agri as the optional, right? So like for example, let's say I will first tell from like agri graduates background. So for here, what is happening is that when you have done your graduation and all, so let's say for example, if at all you like the teacher, then definitely that particular subject would be very much favorite for you, right? So that will be reflected in the way you are going to write the answers also, correct? So while you are writing, let's say for example, especially in paper 1, so because it is straightforward topics, and even like if at all the teacher is not like very much interactive for you also, then also you would have liked the subject, correct? Then also you have this expertise over the subject, then you will be writing better answers. But when it comes to paper 2, especially genetics and breeding, yes, so most of you will have fever for that, correct? And also you have this aversion for that subject, correct? Believe me, when I say the same things to this non-agri graduates, what they will be saying is that that is also a subject. Yes, at the end of the day, it is like questions is coming from that also, from other topic also, and it will be for 10 markers means 10 markers, right? No matter what is the subject, it is at the end of the day, the marks is same for all the type of questions. Now why to have that sort of emotion? So here what is happening is that when you are thinking of this genetics and breeding, you know that okay, there are molecular level questions, or else there might be asking that what is this submolecular questions, or else let's say when they are asking this molecular markers, if they ask like what is the specific advantages of it, or else with respect to one crop if they ask what can I do. So these are the things you are thinking. But if you go back to the PYQ trend, like hardly they've asked that sort of questions. 1 or 2 years, maybe 1 or 2 questions. That's it. After that, there is no such sort of questions. But for you, in fact, I have seen students who have come to me, they have said that just because they are not comfortable with genetics and breeding, they have taken other subjects also, other optional. So that is one of the biggest blunder you can make. Are you getting? So what I am trying to say is that, see, at the end of the day, you have to see from cost to benefit ratio. That's it. See, what is the total marks for which paper will be coming? Total marks. It is for 400, yes or no? One paper I am saying, including the options, because 8 questions would be there. In that you have to write how many questions? 5 questions. So 3 will be the choices. Considering all those things, so total marks per paper is 400, right? And 400, 400, 800. So totally actually you have to write for 500 marks. Are you getting? In that 500, we are always struggling to get that even 50% of the marks, correct? So 250 is what like most of the students will be struggling. So why that struggle will be coming? So first thing first, see, they like first problem is that they would have stick to this whatever the resources which is like freely available in the market, right? Could be like institution material, could be like Anglo Tamil Nadu, etc. So the problem with these two things is that they can give you the like fundamental understanding maybe, right? But if you have to get that extra like 20-30 marks, then that is not good enough, right? One is laziness to put that extra effort, correct? Now let's assume, so another laziness what the students are exhibiting is with respect to notes making, correct? So when it is coming to notes making, they always want spoon feeding. So you give us everything, I will buy out the things and I will write the answers. But at the end of the day, that is not how this examination is working. Yes or no? Even I can challenge you, like even if I give like 100% of the notes, what you want in the examination hall itself, then also you cannot utilize the material itself. Are you getting? So at the end of the day, it is what the brain processes, correct? So you have to prepare for that rather than preparing for the content, right? So content is important. At the end of the day, there are other things which matters most, correct? Okay. And another mistake what students make is that especially they won't practice the answer writing itself. They always think that, sir, we have already read this agriculture optional for 4 years, then what is the necessity of the classes? I can read by myself, first thing. Second thing is that, sir, we have written already answers in the UG level, so what is the need for writing the answers? So I have seen so many students who are writing their first answer in the mains examination itself, right? What is the biggest problem? The quality will not be coming and they won't be completing the paper. In both scenarios, they will be losing the marks. Correct? If you are losing, I mean, if you are not writing one answer also, there already you are losing 15 marks. So what is the guarantee that in rest of the questions, you are getting very good marks? No, right? So that's why completion of the paper is very, very important. that completion comes only via writing practice. So most of the students will not be taking this test series, right? I'm not like compelling you to take like any test series. I'm saying that at least for PYQs, if you're not like affordable, or else like if you don't want to write the like institution like test series as such, so at least ensure that all the PYQs which are there, for that you have solved the answers. And also I have been like always asked, sir, is there a book or else material where all the PYQs is solved? Why do you want that? Right? So if something is that sort of it is there in the market, believe me, like the creativity or else the marks pattern which is happening in the optional as of now, it will even go down. Why? Why? Because everybody will be reading the same thing, and at the end of the day everybody will be writing the same answer. Then what is the difference between like individual answers? How can you create that differentiation? For that again you have to put even more extra effort. Are you getting? See, some point of the time, at least somebody or the another one, they are going to come up with this thing. But what I am trying to say is that at least when there is this, not distortion of the market, at least utilize that space and make sure that you are making that effort and you are getting into the list. Are you getting what I am trying to say? So conserve that creativity which you have, right? See, for example, when you have made the notes, okay, keep it for yourself, and when you have these answers, at least discuss the key points or else like this thing, what is that, structure of the answer with your friends. But the core content should be with you. Are you getting? As I said, this is a technical subject and also static subject. So most of the questions are repeating by itself. So if you are just letting it out to the market, what is happening? There is no differentiation between you and that person. Are you getting? So that's why until at least you are going to get into the list, ensure that you have that edge between others when compared to yours, right? Okay. Now let's have this brief look at the syllabus. Okay. Ecology and this thing, agronomy. Sorry, agroecology, let's say. Agroecology. See here, briefly I will tell you with, like the trends, the questions are coming, and also like how you should be approaching this, correct? So here major problem for students is, one is, sir, we don't have content, correct? Can we dependent on this environmental materials which are there for GS3, correct? All of you have same doubt? No? No. Everybody will be having the same doubt, because here see what I believe and what is the pattern like the questions are coming is that, see, if you take this thing, environment in GS3, we have the concepts called as ecology, correct? Environment. Here both we are dealing with types of ecology and types of environment. So what I say is that if you really understand the core concepts of this ecology, now let's say for example, what is ecological productivity? What is it? What is ecological productivity? Never heard the term. In GS3 definitely it will be there, yes or no? At least like, what is that? I know like batch 5 students are there, for them like environment is still going on, but again like other students, they will be knowing this, correct? What is productivity at least? Forget about ecological productivity. What is productivity? Production per unit area, or else the quantity of inputs you are giving and what is the quantity of output it is coming. So with respect to agriculture, when we say the fertilizer given, the water given and the biomass you are generating. Now think of that of the ecology. In ecology, what are the inputs it is getting? Plant or else like nature is getting, what are the inputs? What are the inputs? No, what are the inputs? Correct? So carbon, then it is sunlight, water, correct? Basically natural resources. So if at all the ecosystem is productive, what is the ecosystem productivity? That means that what is the amount of this thing, rainfall or else like natural resources this ecosystem is getting. So utilizing that, what is the quantity of biomass, biodiversity it is generating. Are you getting? To ensure that there is higher level of this biodiversity, what should be there? The health of that particular ecosystem should be good. Now this is what we can understand from generalistic point of view. From agriculture, what they will be asking is that they will be asking agroecology, agrobiodiversity. Now just think same thing from agriculture point of view. Now I said, so for example, if you just take this ecosystem, natural ecosystem, we are speaking of the natural resources, correct? Here the main problem in agroecosystem is human intervention. So we are the one who is manipulating this environment. So this manipulation over the years, what has done? It has created this negative impacts, correct? At the same time, positive is also there, but more of negative impacts is there. Because of more of negative impacts, there is low productivity in the agroecology. Now, if you go back to PYQs, just like at least for my sake, go back to PYQs and observe the questions. Definitely at least if you take 5 questions, at least 2 questions will be there on this agroecology, which will be asking on the productivity concept. Are you getting? Now you got the idea. So this is how you should be looking at the syllabus, and this is how you should be looking at the topics. If you have this sort of understanding, you need not even depend on me, right, or else on any material. So you can understand by yourself, and you can write the answers for yourself. And another biggest challenge in the examination hall as such, see, let's say 8 questions are there total. So in that 8 questions, sub questions will also be there, right? So at the end of the day, there will be at least 2 or 3 questions. I'm saying like in 8, at least 2 or 3 questions will be there, for which you may have like basic idea. Basic idea will be there, but rest of the content you have to manufacture on the spot itself. That manufacturing can happen only when you have very good fundamentals. Are you getting? So always it is coming back to these fundamentals only. Are you getting? Yes. So that's why be sure of these fundamentals, and that is what I will be doing in the classes also. Are you getting? So because see, if you have like attended my GS classes also, every time I will be focusing on these fundamentals only. So this is also same thing will be in the optional. Because as I said, like classical example, productivity. Now can you read by yourself? You can understand? Yes or no? How much time did you take? Hardly like 4 or 5 minutes. But you have the concept now. Are you getting? So my intention is that, see, when I give the concept, it is not like you will be dependent on me. So I will give in such a way that will force you to think in a certain way. So thinking is what important for this optional. Are you getting? If we really have that intellectual capacity to think like, okay, this is what they will be asking. So you should be getting that sort of gut feeling. When you read the topic, see, when I can say like in agroecology, like in 1 or 2 days, we are going to release this list where like for this year's mains, so from each topic, which are the major theme areas where it will be like questions may be coming. But the thing is that, see, like I'm not saying that I'm like professor or else like, let's say this thing, magician or something. So the thing is that it has worked in my favor. At least, see, because there is luck factor also, right? But if you take like last 2-3 years, this thing, the test series which we had done, so at least there was more than 80% similarity between the questions I had given and the questions which are appeared in the examination. In other words, we can develop that skill only when we have one thing, PYQ clarity. Second thing is conceptual understanding. Third thing is that understand how UPSC is thinking. Are you getting? So these 3 things, if you are understanding, need not even be dependent on anyone. So you yourself can also prepare. Are you getting? Up to here it is clear? So this is what I can say with respect to agroecology. Now let's take another one. Shall we take this soil water conservation? Okay. Okay. So soil water conservation, see, you know this question 1 and 5 is compulsory, correct? Now if you take paper 1, I assume at least you have seen the PYQ question papers, yes or no? So in this question 1 and 5, where this thing, what is that? Soil water conservation questions will be coming. In which question? Like question 1 and 5. In this, where it will be coming usually? No idea. So this is the problem. So usually the question will be coming in question number 5, right? See, as I said, since question 1 and 5 is like compulsory, so usually what UPSC is doing is that, so those sort of topics for which you may have like 1 or 2 points or else maximum of 5 points, they will be asking that for 10 markers there. Or else something out of like unexpected. For example, you know this 2022 paper, there was this question, what is that? QPM, quality protein mix, right? So that was asked in question 1, so that was mandatory. So if at all, let's say for example, a student is just looking that for the first time, then he will be panicked. But essentially, see, quality protein mix, you just divide the words. So quality protein mix, that is to say protein, the quality of protein should be ensured that in of the maize, and further they are asking agronomical practices. You know the basic agronomical knowledge, right? What are the from land preparation until this post harvest, you know, basic knowledge. Utilizing that, can't you make a procedure by yourself to ensure that there is good amount of protein? See, of course, technical knowledge is needed. I am not saying that you can always bluff. But the thing is that even if you are writing in that way also, definitely at least if you write 10 points, at least 6 to 7 points should be on the same lines. Are you getting? So what I am trying to say is that you should have that skill to manufacture the content in the examination, so backed by fundamental understanding. Are you getting? So same thing here, why did I say all those things is that question 1 and 5, usually they will make at least one question very tricky. Are you getting? And also you should be knowing that, so in which part of this thing, like let's say for example question 1, usually the questions will be coming from this, what is that, ecology, at least 1 question or 2 questions will be there, and then this agronomy, again 1 or 2 questions, including weed science I am saying, correct? And then from soil, at least 1 or 2 questions will be there. So this is the usual trend in question number 1, correct? If you take question number 5, it is always at least 1 or 2 questions from soil water conservation, then extension, at least 1 or 2 questions, economics, 1 or 2 questions. right? So this is the decoding of the things you should be doing. See, you would have heard about, like, even in GSRS, like if you go to any mentor, they will be saying that first go and do this PYQ analysis. But the problem is that, so it is so much cliche term that people are not understanding what is this PYQ analysis, correct? So this is what you should be doing. So you should be analyzing the pattern, how the questions are coming, right? Now you got to know, even if at all the questions is varying, at least you know that, okay, from this subject I can expect this question. Clear? So in this way you should be preparing. Okay, under this soil water conservation, so can you say which is the most repeating thing, or else what is the most fearful thing for you? Nothing? Yes or no? Is there nothing fearful for you in soil water conservation? Everything is clear? Pakka? See, and another thing for me is that, see, classes has to be interactive. Could be orientation, could be actual classes. If at all it is not interactive, then I can't proceed forward, right? So same thing, in optional classes also it will be interactive. Clear? Now, if you take soil water conservation, see, one of the major things from where questions are coming is this thing, technology, stabilization for rain-fed agriculture, dryland agriculture, or as any other agriculture pattern. Are you getting? See, here again the student's problem is that, see, if you go back to this Google or else internet, you just type down this technology stabilization for any sort of agriculture, you will be finding like n number of websites which will be giving different types of content. Essentially that is not in the context of examination, right? Have you experienced this problem? Correct? Here, as I said, having the fundamentals is important. See, for example, let's take this rain-fed agriculture only. So in rain-fed agriculture, what is the major constraint? Water, correct? Moisture basically. So whatever the technology I will be using in this rain-fed agriculture, one, it should be focusing on this moisture conservation. Second thing, increasing the productivity, correct? Now, so technology, for what aspects in agriculture we need different types of technology? See, for example, we can start from land preparation, correct? See, for example, have you heard this term laser land leveling? Yes. So if I am doing this leveling of the land, won't that be conserving the water? Yes or no? Because if at all land is undulated or slopey, what will happen? Whatever the irrigation water you are going to give, or else whatever the rainfall it is going to occur, it will be washed away. Along with moving of water, another loss is soil fertility, correct? Now, just by leveling we can halt that. So that is also a technology. Are you getting? So what I am trying to say is that start from this land preparation, go till post-harvest technology. Then at each stage, if you are getting at least 2 or 3 examples, won't that be enough? Right? Now, is it easy or not? The problem is that having this clarity, simplifying the things. So that is where the trick is. Because, see, for example, if at all the concept is already complicated, you will make much more complications. So that is not the approach you should be having. So look at it in a simpler way, then the preparation will also be simpler. Are you getting? Yes, up to here it is clear? Right. So in paper 1, since we have taken 2 things, so now in paper 2 also we will take the major fearful things, cell biology, okay, genetics, cell biology, okay. And this, which is the most fearful part for you? Which is one? No, that is separate subject. I am asking within genetics. Which is the most fearful topic for you? I can make that easy now. Nothing. Again, this is the problem. See, what I want to highlight is that, you know, genetics as such, it is difficult for you. But within that, what is the difficult, you don't know. See, actually there is this law called as Kidling law, you know. So that law says that if you write down what exactly is your problem on the paper, so 50% of your problem will be solved. Because once you start writing on the paper, you yourself will realize that this is not at all a problem, right? In fact, I don't have an idea about the problem itself. Are you getting? So that's why when you are saying that genetics is the problem, make sure that what are the problems for you. Are you getting? Right? So this is the biggest problem which we have, correct? Just the psychological fears. Okay. So genetics, let's take this thing, what is that? This thing. First thing we will take this DNA only, right? Or else this thing, cell biology, or cell organelles, correct? So this is one of the important topic and if you take like at least every year one question or else at least alternate years one questions will be there. Why? Why? Now let me ask this question. If I want to ensure that whether you know genetics or not, so what is the fundamental thing or fundamental question I should be asking for you? It is about cell. If you have really understanding of the cell, you know where cell organelles are present and which organelle is responsible for what function, then you will be a better geneticist, correct? So to ensure that you know the knowledge of genetics, I should be asking one cell biology question. Now go back to PYQs, definitely there will be one question every year on this cell biology. Are you getting? But the advantage is that this is one of the easiest concept, right? But again here I will take one of the fearful things for you, the molecular thing, right? We all know like DNA is the genetic material, correct? Yes? Is there a doubt in this? No? Because scientists, so many scientists has taken burden of proving that, correct? No. So there was this question in the PYQ. So DNA is a genetic material, prove or else explain how DNA plays a role in development of traits, correct? Right? We know that as a fact, so DNA is responsible for heredity and it is the one which will be giving us the behavioral traits, correct? Now can you explain how? The problem is you will be knowing the fact but you cannot write the answer, correct? Law of Mendel, okay? How can you explain that? See here the problem is not just mentioning the word, you have to explain how that is related to this. So that is the criticality here, yes or no? Are you getting? Yes? No. See just again I can give you an example, just by utilizing this basics how can you write very good answer for this. Now for example, now what is DNA? Don't say the full form, I know the full form. What is DNA? What are the components of DNA? Correct? So one is nitrogen bases, next phosphorus will be there, correct? Sugars will be there, then ATGC, nucleotides, correct? So these are the basic components of this DNA. Now utilizing this only you can write these things. For example, when I say this thing, what is that? Nitrogen is there, phosphorus is there. So nitrogen and phosphorus it is also needed for protein synthesis, and protein synthesis is the one which will be giving us, for protein synthesis you know another concept, genetic code is needed. You would have heard about this, AUG, right? So that is to say genetic code, it is having the information which is needed for particular function or else particular trait. In other words, when I say DNA, I am saying all these things, correct? Now what you have to do is that go back to these basics, understand what are the basics of this DNA or else components of DNA, and these components, what is the role they are playing in this biological system. If you understand that, then you can give this answer, correct? The problem is that we will understand always this in a superficial way. So maximum knowledge of this DNA, like the things we have biated is, one is definition of it, the components of it, and then the structure of it, right? There ends the knowledge, but the problem is we have biated. So there is no, like what is that, understanding behind that. Are you getting? So here it is about understanding. See, not just here. For example, let's say, see major concern for me with respect to like agri graduates is that, so the problem is of clearing this prelims, yes? So majority of the like candidates, they will be good in this GS, but CSAT, they will be failing always, right? Again, why that is one of the problem is that it is again going back to the basics. If I give like one of the applied question, you will be like solving it easily. Why? Because you know the formula, you know the repeated pattern of that, you will be doing that. If I ask very fundamental question, let's say for example this thing, what is that? Natural numbers, whole numbers, let's consider this to be x, this to be y, then give me the answer. Then in those cases, students, majority of the science background students will be failing. Why? That is checking your basics. Are you getting? So and again what I am trying to say is that even if you take this prelims PYQ this year's prelims which is said to be like tough one, etc. Go back to that, again they are checking your basics only. Are you getting? Again and again I am stressing many times, that is fundamentals is key here. Clear? So this is one example, correct, for genetics. Now another subject, what you want me to take in paper 2? Which one? Sorry? Plant production you want, okay. Plant protection. Okay, in this we have entomology and pathology, correct? Okay. Okay, in this again, like any specific fears or else like specific doubts you have? Entomology, pathology, plant protection as a whole? Any doubts, specific ones? No. Crops, okay. So should you be reading all the crops, correct? Is that the question, correct? Okay. See here, first thing I will say two aspects you should be reading into this plant protection. One is this thing, the fundamental part, that is, you know, for example, first is let's say pathology. So in pathology, first main concept is pathogenesis, correct? Have you heard? So pathogenesis means how this genesis of pathogen will happen and how this enters into the plant system and how disease will be established for this thing. So for this again we have molecular theories and also observation based theories. So this is one we should be having the fundamental idea. So and another fundamental idea in pathology should be having is that, see for example we have so many of the pathogens, correct? Can you list what are the types of pathogens we have? Pathogens? Fungi, then bacteria, then nematode is pest. What happened? Bacteria, then virus, then bacteriophages, correct? Parasitoids, correct? So these are the major types of pathogens we have, correct? So for example, when you take this fungi, within this fungi, let's say this thing, anthracnose, we have particular characters for that, correct? For example, target board appearance. For example, certain diseases, it will be creating this thing mildew, either in the form of powdery mildew, correct? So which is the fungi which is having this characteristic symptom. So that should be known to you. First thing, the characteristic symptom of in general funguses, in general viruses, in general bacteria. So if you know this generalistic trend, so that will be easy for you to write any sort of crop based question. Are you getting? The problem is, again as I said, you don't have this fundamental idea. Are you getting? So you will be by-heading the things which will be happening in a specific crop, then it will be tough. Are you getting? Now going back to this specific ones. So crops, here again as I said, you need not be by-heading every crop here. So at least if you take this, this something called as, what is it, sanitary and phytosanitary measures is there. Have you heard? Correct? For example, can you give an example of disease, plant disease, which is having this phytosanitary measure in India? Blast, okay then. Now this BBTV, that is banana bunchy top virus. Yes, so that is introduced into India. So that's why again it is one of the phytosanitary disease. Now, at least for these sort of major diseases, which is having its presence globally, so that is the one which should be primary focus for you. For that, what is the thing you should be knowing? It is IDM, Integrated Disease Management. If you know in that way, that is good enough. See, very rarely, and in fact in last like 4 or 5 years, very few questions have come from like crop specific diseases or pest. So that was a trend in like back in like early 2000s. Now those sort of questions are not coming. So they are asking the specific ones. Are you getting? Right? So if you want to read the crop based things, so in that major pest and for them IDM. So this is what you should be doing. Are you getting? So same thing is true for this thing, what is that? Entomology. So in entomology, okay, in entomology, the fundamental aspect I can say is, what is the fundamental aspect? It is about the pest development features, pest development factors. That is, have you heard this? Sorry, economic, ETL, economic threshold level, correct? And then economic injury level, correct? And also there is general equilibrium point. Yes, have you heard? See, these three concepts I can say it is very much fundamental for you to like even apply any of the control measures, correct? So what is ETL? What is ETL? I know the full form. What is ETL? See, ETL means, see, threshold means what? Up to there I can manage, correct? So here it means that if you are doing this, what is that, pest management practices within this ETL, then there will be maximum returns for you because economic damage will be very less during this ETL, correct? So quantifying that for individual crop, that is very important, correct? Even for taking this pest management, correct? So what is EAL? Economic injury level. From this level, there will be economic losses, correct? So here at least if you are taking this plant protection measures, so that will be equal for the loss you are going to occur. Or else even if you are doing this, I mean even at this stage if you are not doing this management practices, then there will be very much negative returns for you in the system. Are you getting? Now what is this general equilibrium point? Never heard? This is the problem. See, these are the things which is already present in the basic chapters itself. So general equilibrium point, it is like many years average data. If I take 10 years, 20 years of just one agricultural field, there I will be getting to know that what is the like general incidence of this pest, at which point in the season it will be coming, when there is moisture level, when it will be coming. So understanding that, this ETL and EAL will also be quantified. Are you getting? So that general what is that? Generalization of this EAL and ETL over a long period of time. So that is called as this general equilibrium point or else position. Clear? So this is the fundamental aspect I can say, right? Apart from this, the general things like what are the factors necessary for pest development, correct? Classification of pests, correct? These are the fundamental ideas you should be having before taking other things. And as you were saying, like for major crops, again I can say the same thing. For example, you know this DBM, diamond black moth. See, there are certain pests which are exclusively associated with certain type of crops. For them, again, what I said, it is IPM. So you should be getting this IPM. So when I say IPM, so it is not just like, so for example, see, you will always say that, sir, we can adopt this, what is that called as pheromone traps, light traps, etc. But problem is that you are not going to quantify it. How much of pheromone trap is needed for 1 acre? That you won't be writing. Or else, let's say for example, when you say, sir, imidacloprid can be like adopted here or else sprayed here. So again, active ingredient will not be mentioned. Correct? Here it is about specifics. When you are writing IPM or else control measures, make sure that specifics is given here. Clear? Up to here it is clear, everyone, right? Yes? Okay. So this is like in general the understanding of syllabus which we need in order to like understand the subject very much particularly. And also like see, these classes will be helpful for you to this thing, what is that, forest service also. Why? If you go to this forest service questions, if you have seen the questions, one thing would be clear, that is the questions are much more specific and in detail they are going to ask. In detail in the sense, why? Say for example, if you take this civil services, when you are going to become the civil servant, you will be heading different ministries, correct? At least when you reach the topmost position. But in the forest service, at least it is a departmental job. For Ministry of Forestry, that is the requirement happening. So they need much more specific knowledge than what the civil servant is needing, correct? So that is one of the logic we can put why they are asking the specific questions. So to understand or to answer those specific questions also, the answer lies in the fundamentals. Are you getting? So that's why fundamentals are very much important. Up to here it is clear, right? Okay. Now, let me ask this question. Challenges or else toughness to get 300 plus. Now, you should be telling me, so what are the reasons or else what are the challenges we have to get this 300 plus things? Yes, one by one, what are the things? Yes? Any challenge for getting 300 plus? No? No challenge at all, we can get it. No idea or else like you cannot say? No idea. Okay. Anyone? What are the challenges we have for getting 300 plus? No idea. Online people, what are the challenges? But you know at least 300 is needed for you to get into the list. That much is known. How? How do you know that? Because market had said so. Correct? So this is what I am trying to say from the beginning. So I have given this example many a times because this year's topper, that is Lakshmi Priya, she got this 268 marks. That's it. But still she got, what is the rank? 176. So with agriculture optional, that is one of the highest rank this year they have got. Right? In other words, what I am trying to say is that you should be good in optional, correct? But at the same time, you should be equally good in GS. Then only you can ensure that there is rank. Right? So here it is not just like bluffing, okay, you are like getting 300 plus, you will be in the service. That is not going to happen. Correct? I have seen candidates who have got very good score in the optional, but they have failed utterly in this GS. Are you getting? So balance both, then you will be in the list. Clear? From optional point of view, I can assure you that whatever the effort you are going to put plus my effort combined together, you will be getting very good marks. That I can assure you. But GS, it is up to you. Are you getting? Yes? Okay. See, one of the challenges which we usually face is that PYQs. Sir, there is no solved PYQ. No solved PYQs. One. Second one is that we don't know how to do this analysis. Answer writing skills. How much, like for example, you would have seen like different keywords. Yes? Can you give an example of keywords? Yes? What are the keywords usually used in questions? Correct? Discuss, explain, elucidate. Correct? So this sort of words will be there. Exact meaning. How should be modifying the answers. Correct? Then word limit. Is it always important for us to like stick to this word limit? If at all they have asked for 150, etc., what should be the range, correct? And usually when I write the answer, it sounds like general answer than optional answer, right? So this is one sort of like what is that? And the problems usually the candidates are facing, right? Could be agree or else non-agree background, but these are the usual problems. Now let me say how this program it is going to be helpful. For example, just few days back, I think 1 month back, we had announced this program, if you remember, that is IARI, remember? It is Insight Agriculture Optional Revision and Recall Initiative, correct? So if you remember, in that actually we have completed more than 200 questions, more than 200 plus PYQs I have covered there, plus like few of the extra questions which I have framed for myself, that also I have given there, correct? So in other words, for 200 questions means like individual subject wise only I have taken. So in other words, you will be covering at least 60 to 70% of major part of syllabus, first thing. Second thing is that we will also be learning this answer writing skills. See, for example, especially when I take this second paper, so usually there is this belief that is it is a technical paper, you will not give proper conclusion. But utilizing this basic concepts only, whatever it has been given in the question, how can you introduce, how can you conclude, how can you differentiate your answer between other person's answer. So all those things it is explained in detail in this IARI program. Are you getting? Yes? Right. Next one is PYQ analysis, or else like how to do this analysis. It is also done here itself. Because before each subject I have taken, I made sure that at least 15-20 minutes is taken. And there I have given like PYQ analysis, how the trend of the questions have been coming, what is the marks analysis which has been there, and also what are the major theme areas you should be focusing there. Are you getting? Right? And also at times when there is a particular question which I have taken, so associated parts of that, what are the sub themes on the same question you should be preparing, that also I have explained there. In other words, if you just complete that one what is that, the program itself, you will be getting one holistic idea about the preparation. Second thing is that I can assure you that 70% of the syllabus will be covered. Plus I have also dictated the notes. For example, when I said that DNA question, so in this sort of questions, where there is no adequate content for the students, that also I have dictated in that program itself. Are you getting? So in a way it will be value addition, in a way it will be like kind of crash course only, right? For any aspirant to start with, correct? That is one. Next one is answer writing skills, as I said. So this is also under this program, that is IARI program. So that is the major. I can assure you that, so if at all a candidate is there who is writing this year mains or else aspiring for next year mains, definitely their answers is going to improve for sure. That I can say for with confidence for sure, because that is the amount of like hard work I have put there. So that will be helpful for you also, right? Next one is keywords. So in fact, like if you have been through this, what is that, Insights YouTube channel. So the first this session which I had taken for this IARI, which is free in this YouTube only. So there in the first half of the session I have explained these things, right? At least watch that, because that will be useful for you. Clear? Now this word limit, okay, let me address this. It is also important in your GS also. See, let's say for example, if I have, if at all they have asked like, okay, 150 words or like 250 words. So what we will be saying is that, because we have seen students, they will be writing like nonsense things, because it is not at all in the demand of the question, but still they will be writing anything, correct? In those contexts, we will be very critical of the word limit, because we will be saying that we have set for 150 limits, you have exceeded the limit, and then we will be going for negative marks. But now assume another scenario. You have written very good answer, and whatever the content which you have written, it is in the demand of the question, and in fact it is adding value to the answer. Definitely you will be getting positive marks. Or getting additional marks will be given rather than deducting the marks. But provided, see, if at all 10 marks means 2 pages will be there, right? And usually, so this much space, it will be margins, correct? In this margin, any margin, you should not write anything. If you are exceeding there, if you are writing something there, that will be a negative marks, correct? Ensuring that there is everything written here, and also even if you are exceeding the word limit, it is fine. But again, another important thing is that it should not look like overcrowded, because once you start writing the answer, once you got this conceptual clarity, you have content, now immediate problem for you is that you feel like you have to write everything, because you know so much of this concept, and you feel like essentially everything is important, and if at all evaluator is reading that, he will be impressed. So you want to write everything, so that is the symptom that you are entering into this overcrowding effect. So that should not be there. So visually also it should be pleasing. So then if at all you are feeling like everything is important, what should be done? It is prioritizing the points. Prioritize your points. Now let's say for example, you have like 20 points for let's say 15 marks question. Now you feel like all these 20 points is important. Now if at all that is so, then make a list like within this 20 points which is the most important for you, right? So in that way if you are writing even 10 points, 12 points, that is good enough here with justification, with little bit of explanation. Are you getting? So what I am trying to say is that just because you want to bring more number of this thing, what is that term? Points, don't compensate on either explanation or else legibility or else aesthetics of the answer. Then there will be negative marks for that. Are you getting? Yes? Up to here it is clear? Everyone? Right? So this is how, like I said, IARI could be helpful for this sort of PYQ problems, correct? Next problem is with respect to writing practice. See, this actually we also faced when we are preparing, because we always wanted to have one good test series which can give us good feedback, etc., etc. But unfortunately at that point of time there were none, right? Now see in this thing, Insights only we have called as YLM. So year long agriculture optional test series. So assuming that you have not seen this poster or else like even the orientation class for which I had done, so then I will be telling you few things. See, for example, it is a test series of a total of 16 tests, correct? In fact, in IARI also we had 4 full length tests. Full length test. Full length means it is for 400 marks only each paper. So in that sort 4 tests were there. Now here 16 tests will be there. So the main important thing is that at least for 2 weeks once there is one test, correct? Yes. And let's say for example if at all the subject is lengthy, like let's say agronomy or as soil science, so then what I have done is that I have increased the space for 2 tests, and within that for agronomy only there will be 2 sectional tests, because I should be giving you enough time to one, make the notes, second, revise the things and then write the test. If not, that is of no use for you, right? So this is what it is ensured in this YLM test series. Are you getting? Yes, right? Now see this optional classes, okay, I will take another one. Optional classes, the foundational classes, which I have said that we will be starting in September. So this actually includes this IARI plus YLM free of cost. So this will also be included in the program itself. Now what is the advantage? See, for example, if you want to take this individually, you have to pay more price. Or else, let's say for example, even if you go to this any other places, institutions basically, you have to pay again like separate things for separate benefits. Here what is the intention of providing all these things within a program is that, see, you should be getting that holistic thing. Once you have done this, you should be feeling that, okay, I have done with my optional. You should not have that always feeling that, okay, I paid this money, but again I should be doing this, again something is missed out. So that sort of feeling should not be there. Are you getting? So that is the main intention why I have provided all these things of free of cost here, right? Now, how can you utilize all these things, right, within this optional preparation strategy, right? So now, for example, I will tell you 3 scenarios. Classes, it will start from September. So in classes, the main thing is that one, as I said, conceptual clarity. So this is like 100% sure I am going to give, right? Conceptual clarity. Plus, I will be giving you the notes, dictated form notes will be given. And here when I say dictated form, it doesn't mean that for everything I am going to dictate, because if we are doing that, and essentially we will be completing our graduation here rather than the optional, right? So that much dictation is not needed. So what I will be doing is that, see, there are certain topics for which my interference is very much needed in notes also. Because there is no clarity, there is no consolidated material, there I will be dictating the things. So for those things which is like very easily available within this market also, and also like for you also it is at the like within reach. So for those things I will be giving in the PDF form. So it will be mixed of both dictated notes plus PDF form. Clear? Here you will be getting the content. Now, so I said that this will be starting in the September. Correct? Now, this thing, so IARI program, sorry, if you are going to subscribe this even before the classes is going to start. So what I want you people to do is that even before coming and sitting in the classes, at least complete this IARI classes. I think it is around 20 or 22 classes, I guess. So if you complete these things, so even before coming to the classes, advantage is that already like your brain will be warmed up, first thing. So many of the fundamental concepts will be clear. Second thing. Third thing is that at least for those concepts which is very, very difficult, that is what you are going to think. So that illusion will be lost. You will be thinking that, okay, optional is approachable, I am going to learn. Are you getting? So this is what I want you people to do. Even before coming to the classes, complete this IARI and come and sit in the classes, right? Worst case scenario, if at all it is not happening, it is okay. As we are progressing in the classes, do complete this IARI, right? Now, how can you utilize this YLM here? YLM. No, I think already 2 tests is done, right? Now, the thing is, even though 2 tests is done, it doesn't mean that you are not going to have access. So access will be there till, I guess, this January or February, till then you will be having the access. So what you can do is that, see, let's say for example, from the first class we have started with this ecology, right? And let's say like 10 days or else like 5 days, something that time I am going to take to complete this ecology. Then by the time I completed the ecology, ensure that you are going to revise the notes which I have given once. Then go and write this YLM test. Now test series is also done for you, plus classes, plus notes making. Everything will be done simultaneously, right? And as I said, the duration of this optional classes, it will be of 3.5 months. In worst case scenario, it will be of 4 months. In other words, even if I start from this September, I will be completing in worst case scenario by December. Are you getting? So by December, that is what ideally you should be completing your optional and also writing practice, and everything will be happening in one place. You need not even worry about going any other places also. Are you getting? Yes. So this is how you can manage your this thing, optional classes plus this other features. Now, so for example, I know like most of you are like OGP students, you will be having like GS classes plus this optional classes, right? Now let's say for example, if at all some major subject is going for you, let's say polity, right? If at all polity is going for you, then what you can do is that, see, polity with respect to mains and prelims, both ways it is important, correct? And at the same time, this thing, optional, it is also important. Now what you can do is that, see, optional 3 hours classes, this GS will be 3 hours classes, so total of 6 hours. Now let's say for example, to complete this classes, the module, if at all they are going to give you another class of another GS paper, now 9 hours will be there. Now instead of what I say is that focusing this thing, what is that, another subject also, what I would be suggesting is that whichsoever is the 2 GS subjects happening, in that which is the most important one, or else which is the cost to benefit ratio which is more important. So do make revision of that and then revise this optional, right? That another GS subject is attend the classes, either in offline or else online, you attend the classes, make sure that you are just getting the concepts in the classes. Are you getting? So once this optional and also your this thing important GS subject is done, then again you have the opportunity to go back and revise that another GS subject. But this optional, it is not like that, because optional one paper itself is worth 250 marks. In total it is worth 500 marks. But if you take any GS subject, it will be a part of one GS paper. It is not the complete paper. Are you getting? So in other words, what I am trying to say is that be smart of like choosing which is important and which you can like postpone it for something later. Are you getting? Right? In this way, you have to manage your OGP classes plus your optional classes. As of now, the information which I got is that tentatively it will be like from morning 7 to 10. Right? Tentatively it will be morning 7 to 10. In a way it is good, because morning early hours it will be done optional. After that you have entire day for your GS. Right? So that is also a good way, correct? And the update which I wanted to say in the beginning, I said that update is there, right? So update is like this. So see, I told you like this thing, the optional classes is going to start from September 1st. So the tentative timetable was from September 1st. And the thing is like I want to go to this Delhi, right? So there is a batch I have to complete there. So it may be taking me like 1 week to complete that. So instead of like rushing and starting the things here and not giving 100% here or else 100% there, what I have decided is that either will be starting from September 8th or 10th. Right? But again, as I said, by December definitely you are going to complete. There is no rush, there is no nothing. Definitely with everything we can cover within December, but it will be starting from this September 8th or 10th. That is the update I wanted to give. And those people who are like in online, So if at all you are nearby Delhi, so I think I'll be coming there by 1st or 2nd of this September. So you can come there if you have any doubt, and also we'll be doing these sessions there for optional itself, like the approaches, and also like we are planning to have one topper session there. So if you are willing to come, you can definitely come to our branch in Delhi and you can get the benefit from there, right? So these are the things I wanted to say from this optional classes point of view. Apart from this, do you have any other doubt? No? With respect to preparation of optional or else in general, anything else? No? Okay, let me clarify this. Okay, if you are thinking of the fee, so what I can say is that, see, we are giving this 2 installments. You can pay in the installment also, that is also allowed, correct? But only thing, the important thing is that, see, you have to pay at least like 60% of the fee in the first installment. Why? Because see, if you take this IARI classes, so I had kept like fees as 10,000, but hardly like only one student has paid like complete fee. For rest of the things I had given this installment, and rest of the people I have given this additional discount also. At the end of the day, those people who take this installment, they didn't even pay the second half, right? In other words, when a person is putting that much of effort, so at least the basic thing is that you have to ensure that that person's livelihood is continuing, correct? To ensure that that sort of lessons the students are taught to us, so we are making sure that at least 60% of the fee is collected. In worst case scenario, at least I can make my living. Are you getting? So that's why if you are paying like 60% of the fee, then these 2 courses will be activated for you, right? Then you can complete those things in the beginning, then you can come to the classes. Clear? Right? If you don't have any doubts, then this will be all. Clear? Yes? Okay. Thank you all.